Hello everyone, I am Neharika and my guide name is Dr. M. Prasad. And now we are going to discuss how to write C programs for the following two series. And the first series is 1 plus 1 by 2 plus and so on up to 1 by n. And the second series is 1 by 3 plus 3 by 5 plus and so on up to 97 by 99. Program, first we have to include header files. In this particular program, we are entering these two header files and next going into the main. Here we have to declare the numbers or the variables which are being used in our entire program. Here we are using the number and sum and I as variables in this program. Thus we are declaring them and sum is declared as 0. If we don't declare the sum as 0, it stores some garbage value. And next we are going to take the value of n from the user. And thus we are asking the printf enter the number. Thus it shows enter the number in the output screen. In the scanf, we are going to store the number. The ampersand here helps in storing the number in a particular address. And next going into the loop, for I is equals to 1, I less than or is equals to the number I plus plus. That is, the value of I starts from 1 and the value becomes incremented up to the value less than or is equals to the number entered by the user. And starting in the loop, the sum becomes is equals to sum plus 1 divided by I. For example, when we take the value of I is equals to 1, sum becomes sum is equals to sum. Here we have declared the sum as 0. And thus sum becomes is equals to 0 plus 1 divided by 1. And this is the particular case. If I is equals to the number, then the last value will be printed. Else, the value starting in the beginning of the loop continues till the number is equals to the number. For example, if we start the loop from 1 divided by 1 plus 1 divided by 2 and so on continues till the value of I becomes equal to the number and terminates here in the last value. And at last, we are going to print the sum of the series. And now we are going to run it. And it is asking us to enter the number. And here is the output. 1 divided by 1 plus 1 divided by 2 up to the number 1 divided by 4 which is entered by us. And the sum of the series is also printed. Next, going into the second program. That is the program for writing 1 by 3 plus 3 by 5 and so on. 97 divided by 99. First, we are writing these header files as usual. And next, going to the main, we are declaring the variables I. And the first is equals to 1 and second is equals to 3 and next. As the sum becomes a floating point as we are adding the terms which are fractions. And next going into the loop, for I is equals to 1, I less than 50, I gets incremented. Going to the loop, sum is equals to sum plus first divided by second. Here sum is default, we have taken the first sum initiated as 0. Thus sum becomes equal to 0 plus first, that is 1 divided by second, that is 3. And the next becomes equal to 2 into 1 plus 1. As I value is 1 for the first loop, the next value becomes equal to 3. And the value of next gets stored into the second one. That is the variable second. And the value of first and second gets printed as %d divided by %d. That is first divided by second. That is 1 divided by 3. And after printing first divided by second, in the loop we are swapping first and second. Thus, in the second, going for the loop for the second time, sum becomes equal to sum plus first divided by second. Here sum is equal to the value of 1 divided by 3 plus the first. Here we have swapped the value second to first. Thus the second value for the first loop, that is 3, gets stored into the first value. Here the first becomes 3 divided by second. Here next is equals to 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3, and the second gets stored into, and the next gets stored into the second one, that is 3 for the first loop. And for the second loop, as we are going for the second loop, I becomes equal to 2, and the next becomes equal to 2 into 2 plus 1, that is 5. And the next value, that is 5, gets stored into the second variable. And now the printf %d divided by %d, that is first divided by second. Now after swapping, we are getting the values as 3 divided by 5, and thus the values continuously gets printed up to I less than 50. And next we are going to print the sum of all these values. As sum is a floating point, here we are using %f, and we are going to run it. Here the output becomes equal to 1 divided by 3 and so on up to 97 divided by 99, and the sum becomes equal to 48. Here we are having 6 zeros after the point, as it is taken as a floating point. Here sum is declared as floating point, thus we are getting this floating value as the sum. Thank you.